So if you were to start out now fresh, knowing what you know now, and you're about to start your business in property within a time where we're entering a recessionary period, what would you do? What would be your kind of go-to strategy?
Right now, and I hate to say this, right now, I think you're pretty nuts buying property. I wouldn't
Interesting.
invest right now. Uh, I do think
I
service
disagree with that,
accommodation.
by the way,
Okay,
but you
no,
finish.
no, okay, maybe I kind of know, and the reason being is because I think that we have a potential serious energy crisis coming up. Okay, so a wise investor will wait. There's a time to buy and a time to sell. So all I'm saying to you is I don't think it's always a good time to buy. I think patience and again due diligence, looking at what's happening. I would probably be waiting to see what happens after this energy cap goes, because if there's a real crisis, and by the way, if there is, I'm not going to moan, because we were talking about Ukraine, and every time I'm feeling like shit, I'm going to go, I really don't want to be sitting in a trench somewhere. So I just think that this energy crisis there needs to be, it could go two ways. If it goes really badly, then that will give you an opportunity to maximize your cash that's in the bank. So if people stop buying property because the cost of energy is going through the roof and it just doesn't, people can't afford to buy houses, the prices will drop. And by the way, loads of people have got equity in property. So there's plenty of flexibility in the market for people to go, I need to sell, I'm going to drop my price because I need to sell. So I would say that if you do have cash, I'm aware that you're losing 10% every year. So if you need to put it somewhere, I would be looking at a good but cheap location, because you're going to make the most out of the money. And I would say don't expect to make fortunes, because it's not that kind of a property, is not that kind of strategy. So I would say if you've got cash burning a hole in your pocket, it's safest in property. So I would agree with you there. But understand what is value.
Yes.
Try to maximize the profit. If you're thinking about a strategy, such a big question, isn't it? Service accommodation, yeah, it's a great strategy, but think 10 years down the line,
It could be very different.
it's going to be very different. So be aware of that and build it. Think about, again, feasibility is really important. And there's a saying, if you're in business, you've got to be able to see around corners.
Yes.
So you've got to be able to see around the corner. And if you can't, then you're going to have to do a bit more research and think long term. But
I think value and profit are two main things
yeah, value and
for
profit.
me, that would be key. So we're still actively looking, we're still actively buying, but it is based on what value we're getting, what profit we're going to create. And if we can still do that, it doesn't matter where the market's going up, down, sideways. Those are the key
The
things.
curveball here is energy and environment. The human race has never had to face these challenges. If we have an environmental issue, God knows what's going to happen. But again, they're all opportunities if you've got money in the bank. So I would say it's a much better time to invest now than it was 5 years ago, because prices aren't going crazy. There's not a busload of tourists coming in and there's no pressure. So you do have time now. You're not under pressure. So you've got the time to really think it through properly. You can make offers and let them sit there and go, okay, if you're not willing to take that offer, let it sit there. And then you'll probably get phone calls.
So if you let's say next week inherit £10 million from a long lost relative, what would be the
I
plan?
would continue doing what I'm doing. I would buy more of the same.
That's good to hear.
Because I know that although I probably won't be making as much profit as the ones that I bought 10 years ago, that's how it works, isn't it? 10 years ago, I wasn't making any profit. Now I'm making really good profit. That's why you've got to think long term. So I know that the ones that I buy now, I'm going to have to wait another 10 years before they're going to be, and the ones that I bought 20 years ago are going to be doing really well. And I've got loads of, but I would do more of the same, because I do think that less is more. Simplicity is always much better than complexity.
Yeah.
It's not my day job. And property, I never wanted investing in property to be my day job. It's not where I get my passion. There are people I know that get a buzz from doing deals.
Yes, I'm one of those.
Yeah, that's a different animal.
Yes.
You know, I'm a design guy, you're an investor guy. We're two very different animals, but I think merging the two is good. But for me personally, as a designer, simplicity is really important. So more of the same.
Yes.